All right, we're going to try this again. This is part two. so I'm going to go ahead and try to invite Charlie and see if this time this works out for us. Okay, inviting. That's what I'm over here attempting to do here. All right. Let's see if I'm able. Let me just see your phone. Okay. For some strange reason, I don't know what's happening today. Let's see. This is going to be a tough one today, I can just tell. Well, I don't know why it's not working today. And it should be. All right. Try that. Let's see if this is going to work. L Boogie.
Here I am. Where you at?
What, you don't see me?
I see you.
I'm just curious. For some strange reason, it's doing some weirdo stuff today. I don't know what it is, but we're just gonna keep going with it.
Probably because like 100 more people are trying to join in or something. I don't know.
Hey, listen, brother, just look, be entertaining, doggone it, in your usual self. Look, continue to entertain while we get this figured out. Okay.
Got me up in the morning on a Saturday morning. Wait, you're 2 hours ahead of me, right?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I'm
Okay.
adding Chuck right now. Charlie
There
Red.
he is. What's up, Charlie Red?
What's going on, L Boogie?
So, Chuck, I didn't tell you that L had reached out and said, okay, y'all gonna be. It was like 2 hours ago. He's like, so y'all gonna be on like in like the 2 hours, right? I'm like, yeah, brother. We're gonna be on.
I
You
was
coming with us? Little do
I,
you know, but we're gonna be here.
I was up early for this. I was like, yeah, I'm on in on this one.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, okay, so I'm trying to figure out what's happening, that whatever's happening that we can't see or blah blah blah. I don't know what it is today. I'm trying to get Will to be able to see us, and I don't know what's happening. So we're gonna keep rolling with it. I know that Vinay, I just talked to him not too long ago, so I know that Vin is on his way in some kind of capacity. So I'll leave it at that. How about that?
I'm just looking at Coach Tomlin putting the mic on. He was just
And you know that.
getting ready for media conference right now.
Right. And
Yes,
you know it.
we've been fortunate enough to, bring on Russell Wilson.
Wow.
Previous
Hopefully.
quarterback. So again, we like volunteers, not hostages. So
Wow.
find your pasture somewhere else, and we will just do things and continue things the Steeler/Eagle way.
Okay, well listen, hey, I mean it's great that we know that we have a good friend, our brother, that looks like the coach, but we're not here for that right now. But here's the problem. The three of us have not been in the same room. I've been in the room with each of you individually, but the three of us have not been in the same room. So the fact that we're even here and able to do this, blessings all the way around. Check it again in a couple of minutes, babe. I'm having my husband check to see because for whatever reason being, he can't see us, but it looks like we've got some people that are watching. So really quickly, it looks like we got Valerie Shepherd. I see Vonnie is watching. Hey, Vonnie. Or Vanta, I'm sorry. Hey, Vanta. But anybody that kind of floats in and out, we just want to be able to say hi to everybody, number one. Number two, this is our monthly check-in. Again, what we do is we do a check-in with not just one another as Charlie and I, but as you can see, we done brought our brother Elgin White, El
Yep.
Boogie.
boy, it's stuck.
Boogie in the house today. I see our sister Nikki Mitchell is on. Hey, Nikki, good to see you, sis. So, but why don't we go ahead and jump right in, brothers? And Elle, I know that you're new to this, but we do have topics that we cover every month, and so please feel free to just kind of jump in and share whatever you like. And if you don't want to, and you want to just kind of sit, that's cool too. Okay. But what we wanted to discuss today specifically was grief, and we wanted to talk about the kind of the long-term effects of grief. We've all experienced death, and we've talked about that and how it kind of has affected us. But it's the process, the grieving process that we kind of wanted to cover. And again, we thank whether he wants to be called it or not, but our illustrious producer, Dwayne Vincent Harris, his full government name. We thank him for bringing this particular conversation forward, because he had mentioned to us about grief and how we deal with it as we age. It's different. It's not like when we were younger. You maybe rebound a little bit easier when you're younger, but now that we're older, it's just different. So with that being said, Chuck, I'm actually going to let you take the driver's seat on some of this today, and let's kind of just jump on in and see what it is that you're thinking.
Well, first of all, I'd like to, dedicate this conversation today to Alonzo Creighton, my godfather. For some of you that know Greg Creighton, he lost his father. They just had his services on Thursday, days ago. So I just want to pause, and it was actually appropriate because Tanya, you and I, we talked about this close to about 3 weeks ago. So did not know prophetically that we would have to have this conversation today, and then be able to be in a position, as always, to share with others. So in my driving, kind of recapping what you said, even in terms of Vinny's original point was, is it different to go through the grieving process when you're younger versus as you age? And so now this is a very, very, very fresh topic for me, because once again, I'm going through it again at the tender age of 54. So yes, I'm very, curious. In some cases, you want to talk, and in other cases, you really want to listen. So I can just share my experiences, because one of the things that Vinny and Kenneth King and I have in common is that we're all a part of this very small fraternity, and unfortunately, us will experience it, but some of us have already experienced that, and that's actually the loss of the death of both parents and also a sibling. So again, things happen, and they happen very differently, and you experience them very differently, as though if it occurred to you when you were younger versus when you were older. And so, I'm really open to anybody else's perspective, because that's really what it's all about. It's not about, textbook. Grieving is not a one-stop process that everybody goes through it the same. Everybody experiences this very differently. So I'm very curious even if people care to share their own personal experiences of grieving, and what it was like for them during whatever stage of their life.
Yeah.
I think the grieving is different in the aspect of younger to older. Younger, you're not really experienced enough to know what life is and dealing with stuff and the ins and outs of everything, right? When you get older, like what people's been going through, because you've actually gone through some stuff. So when you see that person, they're fighting and all that, you relate more when you're older, because you've dealt with more, you have more experience in life, as opposed to when you're younger, you're not really thinking about death and all that. You're thinking about just getting through. But when you're older, man, those aches and pains. You know what people are feeling like. Like my grandfather died, my grandmother died, my uncle passed away. I don't have that same clickness that you guys have with your parents, losing your parents. I still have my mom, but that's my mom. My mom is all I know. My pops was a deadbeat piece of shit. I don't know if you could say that on Facebook or whatever, but he was a deadbeat. He was around, but not around. So when he passed, I felt the kind of way, because he was my dad, but he wasn't around, to where I was like, oh, damn. I lost my dad. It was a different kind of grieving to a point to where I benefited from, I took bereavement from it. You know what I mean? Even though he was a deadbeat and I didn't know him, I grieved in the sense where, like, damn, I can get like 3 to 5 days off of work.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know
Okay.
what I mean? So it's different in the grievance of you relating, feeling something for someone, how deep it is for that person that you lost, as opposed to like when you're younger, you're playing, you got your marbles, you know, you blah 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 blah. Oh, so and so passed away. Oh, you don't really think about like they're gone somewhere or what's gonna happen after that. You start thinking about health, you start thinking about your health, getting checked out, family checked out when you're older. Hey, what kind of history we got? Because I dealt with some stuff. I should be 6 feet under. I had an aortic dissection. So it's like I find out information that my dad's parents passed away from the same thing. He got polycystic kidney disease, which passed down to me. So I'm probably going to get it. Well, I do have it. I'm not to the point where I need dialysis and all that stuff yet. But it's just, I think this, you have more of an experience of going through the toughness of life to where when you experience grief, it's like, damn, we lost another one. Oh, snap.
Mhm.
He was the same age as me. What am I doing wrong? Like, do I need to cut back on my salt? Do I need to do, you know what I mean? It's like, so I might be rambling, but I think it's just an overall difference, older and younger experience grief, because you have more of an experience in life, experience going through, get another job, or living check to check, or, you know, when was the last time I did go to my doctor and see how good I am? Did I get that physical last year? So you start thinking about that stuff. And then, like, when I was telling Tanya, was it a couple weeks ago, babe, when we went to a funeral? Like, I went to 2 funerals in 1 week. One person I really didn't know, and another person I knew, you know, more than that other person. But going to that funeral and just hearing everyone talk about that person, even though I didn't know her, I felt that grief. I started crying when the son came up and he was talking about his moms, and it's like you start thinking about your mom and your relationship with your parents. And yeah, my dad was a piece of shit, but he was still my dad. Should I have cared more? Maybe, but he didn't earn that. He didn't earn that grief from me. So that kind of grief was different as opposed to like if my mom actually passed away. Like, I can't even imagine how you feel, Chuck. I can't, dude, because I'd be devastated because my mom was everything to me. And not to say that your parents weren't everything to you, because your pops was my like father figure, and Vince's and Smallwood. I wanted those dads, you know what I mean? So when my pops passed, it was like, let me just take advantage of take some days off of work. I stayed at home, watched movies I couldn't watch.
Well, it's, you know, again, it's, you know, it's twofold what I'm hearing you say, and Tanya and I talked about this. First of all, you're telling your truth, and only you can tell your truth.
Mm-hmm.
I could even comment on your truth. The second thing that you mentioned was very, very profound, was that you kept alluding to a relationship. It's the relationship, and I believe a relationship does play a significant role in the grieving process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how you feel about that person does influence how you feel or experience grief.
Right.
And so you touched on, in your truth, you touched on some very, very profound things. I definitely appreciate sharing that. Tanya, you got any thing you wanna jump in on that you heard Brother L say?
Well, and at the end of the day, when you and I, well, when we were talking in our group chat a couple weeks ago, and again, before I go into this, let me just let everybody know, for those people that are joining us, this is the check-in with, this is Charlie and I's monthly check-in that we do not just with one another, that we do with all of you. We talk about various topics. We obviously bring various people on camera. Our brother Elgin White, El Boogie, class of 87, dancing extraordinaire. It has joined us this morning. And we're grateful that he's here, grateful to see him, one of our loved ones always. But today we're talking about grief and the long lasting effects of it, just to catch everybody up. But to your question to me, Chuck, I will say to Elgin, when we were talking a few weeks back, because we have our group text that we talk. I will say again, I've said this to Chuck. I think I said this to Vinny not too long thereafter. Definitely told to my husband. I am honored to be able to be a part of the collective that is y'all's brotherhood. Although I'm a woman, I'm still honored to be here and be able to have these conversations with y'all because y'all are my brothers. Make no mistake of that. And I love you guys to death. We'll go all the way to the end for y'all. No doubt of that. So if you didn't know, now you know. And now everybody else knows too, okay? But with that being said, Elle, I'm so grateful to you for being transparent because growing up, all we knew was just you. I wasn't close enough to you to know your moms. And I never thought about asking you about your dad because I think in my mind, I felt like maybe it was intrusive to ask. I didn't know whether or not I should ask. And so to have heard you be so transparent about the loss of your dad and how that affected you, and in the way that it did, all I could do was respect you. That is all. Now, it made me wish that I could have been more forthcoming with my own father, if that's the case, to have been able to share him with you. I know Chuck feels the same way. You know what I mean? But we did not know, and for that, I felt like, man, what kind of a friend am I? I'm calling this man my brother, and I didn't even realize that you didn't have that kind of a relationship with dad because I saw you every day,
Yeah.
and I knew that you were with mom, but I didn't know any more than that. I was too young to ask the questions without seeming nosy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like, I don't fault none of y'all for that. It wasn't
Appreciate it.
like I was trying to scream for that and be like, hey, look at me. I don't have my dad. Blah, blah, blah. I never did that because my mom's was my everything. Dude, my mom's
Absolutely.
made sure I had a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food in my belly. She was at my games. She was there for me when my dad said, hey, I'm going to pick you up and take you to Disneyland, Magic Mountain, and never show up. When you're a little kid, you thinking like, oh, my dad's coming to get me. I'm hitting the blinds. It's a car going by. It's not him. I'm packed. I'm ready. I'm juiced. It's never him. I took my stuff out on my mom's because it's like, oh, why my dad don't want me? Blah, blah, blah. I never really said any of that because it really wasn't that important. You know what I mean? Because I loved y'all. I loved hanging out with y'all. Like I said, I loved Charlie's parents. I loved Vince's parents. Man, Smallwood's dad was like my dad because my mom,
Big Mike, Big Mike,
Yep.
Big Mike,
Big
big
Mike,
shout out to Big Mike
Big
because
Mike.
that dude was like, he was my pillar of like what a dad was because he was around.
Yes.
Even though him and Connie weren't together, they're still in the same block.
You
Like you
call her
can be
Connie?
at Mike's,
You
huh?
call her Constance? Connie.
Now she wants to be Constance. I called her Connie because that was, that's the relationship I
Come
had
on
with her. You know what I'm saying?
now. When she lived
But
around the corner from me, she
right,
was
she lived
Constance.
around the corner from you and Scarlett and blah blah blah. But you
Yeah,
could
yeah, yeah.
walk from her house and then walk to Big Mike's house because he was that close, but he was that involved.
Absolutely.
Same thing for me. My mom's was in Easton Square.
Remember that.
Pops was a few blocks away, but he didn't give a damn to where I can go to his house and chill like you could at Big Mike's house, like Mike could. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it was different coming up with that, but I didn't really fall back in the corner because of that, because I was me.
Yeah.
I was only child. I was a Libra. I wanted everybody to like me. I was a class clown. Tried to be cool with everybody. I wasn't trying to get my drawers ripped. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it just
That's a
didn't. It
different
didn't.
conversation, Elle.
It
Different day,
affected
different
me.
conversation, Elle.
It affected me because my pops wasn't there, but I don't think I lost too much
Yeah.
because my mom was one of 11. So I had my uncles and they had kids and I had cousins.
Mm-hmm.
So I had family and I had y'all. Like my Rialto family, we known each other since elementary. We're talking Morgan right here. This is Morgan family, Frisbee, Ike. So, I mean, y'all was my family without even knowing. Like I was looking at y'all like, I want that. Like Tony, you had a brother. You had Dane and Dane. I never had a brother
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So I would pick on him. I would pick on, everybody's siblings because I love that family figure that I didn't have, but I still had that strong strength of my strong black mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who was 6 foot, Gemini, getting my ass whenever I needed my ass to get into. So she had the nails. You know what I mean? I couldn't run. She was 6 foot. Snatched me up off the ground. I'm running in the air like this, throwing me around. So I had my mom's and dad in one person. And thank God for her, because I probably could have been like one of these newbies, like triggered and all that. But we didn't have time for all that, dude. I just kind of like took my own little fantasies and been like, if I ever have a kid, I want to be like Father Red. I want to be like Father Harris. I want to be like, you know what I mean? Like Big Mike. You know what I mean? I like, those were the people, like, if I ever decided to have a kid, which I never did, because my dad fucked that up too. He'd been married 8 times. I have half brothers and half sisters I never met because he never came to pick me up and took me out. Met him, none of that until he got married for the 8th time. He asked me to be his best man, which was weird, but it's my pops, so I did it. And my siblings came up to me after the ceremony and was like just eyeballing me like, why is this nigga the best man? What about me? It's like, I don't know nothing about y'all. Like, Pops never brought me around y'all, so don't get mad at me. I'm just here to celebrate, meet y'all. Hey, I'm Elgin. This is me. We family. But if y'all don't want to be cool with that, cool. But again, I don't know, man. It's like life is trip. It's trials and tribulations of everything, but it's just funny how, like, I didn't really care that my pops passed. Didn't even want to go to the funeral. Like I said, I went to the one with the person I didn't know, and I felt so much like I just started bawling because of the love that person had from everybody else. They filled up a whole basketball stadium for this lady. And I didn't know I was there as a stranger supporting my wife because my wife knew her, of course. But after hearing everybody getting up speaking and listening to the husband and listen to the sisters and all that, it's just like it was a heavy felt grief. I just started crying. Could it have been a combination of me not having a relationship with my dad and feeling that? Maybe. But I knew, like, she was loved. She did what she did for everybody else. That's why everybody was there. And I really grieved for her, even though I didn't know her, to where it touched me to, like, damn, like, this sucks. And
So,
I dealt with it with just, being positive for everybody else because I didn't know her.
so again, that's we talk about relationships. So this is just an evolution of that, because
Mm-hmm.
sharing this is that although you did not have a traditional relationship with her, you still felt it.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Everybody's process of grieving is different, and there are different levels to it. I think you've done a very good job at articulating, and thank you again for being very vulnerable and very transparent, because now you've allowed me to understand, based on your experience, that it wasn't just relationship only. Like, you have a relationship with Mr. Smallwood, that's
Mm-hmm.
a relationship with Mr. Creighton, but also that could actually transcend into just relationships in general, that you don't have to have a direct relationship. You could still feel that.
Right.
And again, I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
y'all got me. I mean, we're in our age of 50ness. So I'm not trying to hide back anything anymore. You know what I mean?
You don't,
I'm speaking on,
you don't have to.
yeah,
And again, and that's where, our relationship is a foundation, because you don't have to. You can truly be yourself without being judged. You could be yourself without being criticized. You
mm-hmm.
can be yourself and be loved. And I'm glad that you actually expressed that, and that you're able to feel that, because a lot of people don't have that.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Well, to me, the overarching thing about the foundation of this relationship that we have, and again, again, anybody that's watching or that will watch this, please make no mistake. as Brother White said a couple of minutes ago, our relationships go back 50 years.
50.
Do the math.
50.
Mhm.
Do the math.
50.
I literally met y'all when I was 6. I'm just saying. I was 6 when I met y'all. I mean, I'll be 55. I'm just saying, technically, we're 50 years strong, and y'all have known each other longer. Because what year did you come to Morgan? Were you there kindergarten?
Mm-hmm.
I was there
But
second grade.
you understand, like, I was supposed to be a year behind y'all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
remember, that was the back in the day we can go to school early.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? 'Cause my birthday's in October.
yeah, yeah. Well,
So,
same thing with Charlie and I. We're September kids,
Yeah.
and so the
right.
three of us are, we're the last ones to turn 55 this year.
Well,
Um,
Yeah.
and we're gonna wear that proud and strong. We the last ones. We
I'm going to
still
wear my 54.
54.
I'm
You
going to
know,
wear my 54.
right? I'm still 54. Y'all not taking that from me. But the at the foundation of this relationship that we have is support. So when we talk about grief and how we process it, I said this during last month's pod that when my dad passed away, I knew I could pick the phone and I could call up any one of y'all and have
Mm-hmm.
gotten a strong level of support that I need from my brothers in that moment. I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
that I don't have some sisters that I could have done that with, but again, I've known y'all probably the longest, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the support is real. The love is real. Again, people look at my relationship with Chuck. Now, I'm going to put Elgin on the spot. Elgin and Vince, I'm going to put you both on the spot.
Put it
Here a
on.
few years back. Oh, yeah, it's going to get ugly. Here a few years back, when we
Uh,
was all on Facebook real good, right? I was making some comment, something. I was talking to this is how I know, Chuck. This is how I know they was looking at us funny. Okay. Wondering like, well, why? But I talked to Elgin and I talked to Vince separately, and they both said the same thing. Like the two of them have been talking or something, right? But I was saying something about you, and both of them at one point said, "We know Chuck is your favorite." See how you laughing? Now, see how he's laughing?
but it's the
Now,
truth, though.
but it's not any. I promise you, it's not any truth because I look at all of y'all as my brothers. Period. I love all my brothers the same. Period. Absolutely. Make no mistake of that. Now I'm sitting up here talking about support. Chuck, don't do that. Don't do that. Chuck is the one I give
Chuck,
the
no.
most grief to. That's
Chuck,
what that
no.
is.
Chuck,
I
no.
give him the most business, and he knows the reason why. And people that have been watching, remember to go back, look at the previous pods. The reason I give him stuff is because when he had his chance to pick me, he chose Scarlett.
Oh,
I'll never forget it. He
oh,
chose Scarlett.
we
Sam chose
going,
me.
we
It's what it
going
is.
back. We
We're
going back.
going back to the first day of second grade.
We
I
going
promise
back.
you. I promise you.
Oh my
Sam Lamar picked
God.
right. And then Chuck will say, well, I couldn't go against my brother. You picked first. I remember hearing you pick first, Chuck. You did that. That's
You
you.
ain't you ain't gonna live that down, Chuck.
No,
I'm
so
sorry, dog.
so
I'm sorry,
when you
dog.
think that he's my favorite, it's not that. It's he chose Scarlett. He chose wrong. He should have chose me because I'm still here. But to the point, at the end of the day, it's the foundation that we have of this friendship that has evolved and it's morphed into family. Like
Yeah.
you said, El, for real. Y'all are my brothers, like blood. I will put you shoulder to shoulder with Dane any day as my family.
Oh, that's
Make no
love.
mistake that if you ever need, I got you anytime. And I feel that way about a whole bunch of our folks that we went to school with, that we've just known. I see your sister Nikki on here saying it's funny. Hey, listen, serious business. And that's stuff that you don't just get within a day or two. That takes time to be able to foster these relationships, build upon, go through some things.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very important. We've
Mm-hmm.
been through stuff. And for us to say, hey, 50 years in this, yeah,
50
support is real,
plus. Support
especially
is
when we're
real.
talking about grief.
Yes.
Support is
And
real. Chuck, what was you going to say? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Elle. Go ahead.
that was the thing about it, because we do have 50 years in. So we know when we lose Trone. We know when we lose
Yeah,
Hosea. We
yeah,
know, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? That's hurt, dude. That because we
yeah,
got that
yeah.
history. We got the Metro. We got the Holiday Roller Rink. We had the Lamppost Pizza. You know what I mean? We had that. That was, man. If I can go back to Rialto back in those days, like when I see like the best man, right? And I see the fellas playing dominoes or cards or whatever, and they're reminiscing, talking shit. Like, that's what I see. I see Chuck, I see Greg, I see Shannon, I see like Smallwood, I see, you know what I mean? It's like, man, I missed that.
It's the
And
wood.
I know that I got y'all
It's
even
the
after all these years.
yes.
We still cool.
That's what I'm saying.
This is amazing.
It's the wood for me. You mentioned best man.
Oh, the wood, yeah.
Yeah. It's I I can sit there and watch that, and that's why I'm start talking even in terms of grieving, that you can get, it can also be triggered by something. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what you experienced when you attended your wife's friend's funeral.
Right.
It was other things that basically other life experiences that were triggered by that one event. And that's what the wood actually does for me. I can sit there and watch that and almost take myself right back to Frisbee.
Right back to Frisbee, dog. Like the wood, yeah. The wood is the one. Because that shows them younger and older,
Yes.
and going through all that, going to the clubs, trying to get the numbers. Oh, you ain't got a pen? You ain't got a pen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
not going to the club. Not going to the club.
Oh.
Our club was Frisbee Junior High Hello Dance.
Yes. the
breath check.
Our club. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I think that, I mean, for me to say to either of you, I'm not saying that this is not the case with anybody else that tunes in, but just the memories that we all have, it's a time capsule. We could sit here and talk about it. We could, it's tangible. It's almost like you could teleport back. You could smell what the air smelled like. You touch it. You could feel it. You could taste it. You just remember it so vividly. And for that, these are things that I share with you all that I know you all get. So again, how could I not be here to support you in anything? Because we've walked this walk together for so long. I know the people you're referring to. I know the situations because I was there with you, lockstep, right there with you.
Yeah.
Now I may not have been doing all the things y'all was doing, and we won't go into that. But because some of y'all was doing stuff that I wasn't doing. But
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know.
Absolutely. You see, Chuck is the most guilty out of all of them.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Black top liquor.
Well, anyway,
getting circling back around. I mean, so would we agree then that there is a difference, having experienced loss and going through the grieving process younger in life as opposed to older in life? I mean, I see my girl Cheryl Cobb Henry's on the line. I mean, again, and we're able to have those type of brief kind of text conversations, and so I feel what she was going through, even with respect to her loss, because I had to go through the same thing with my mom in 2001.
Yeah.
And so, but there is a bright side on the other end of that.
Amen.
Even had to go through that. I did go through it as, again, much older. So I'm 50 as opposed to 14. So I understand, as Elle talked about earlier, that you can now compare, you're older now, more mature, so you understand life and you understand life circumstances, get more out of it. So I don't know if it's harder or easier. I still don't have an answer to that question. And I'm asking anybody wants to try to chime in.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking for an answer to that question.
Well, let me can I add real quick, Elle? I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
Let me just add real quick. I know that Chuck, I don't know if it was you, it may have been Vince. I talk to y'all all the time. But we were talking about people that passed away, like when we were in elementary or Frisbee, or it hit me differently when Shelly's grandmother passed away. God rest her soul. Beautiful woman, blah 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 blah. But she passed away, I think, when we were in 5th grade, 4th or 5th grade, 6th grade, somewhere in there. I didn't know what that meant. I wasn't mature enough to have an understanding of it, so I didn't know how to grieve. I just knew she was here today, and then the next day she was gone. And my parents couldn't explain it to me at that age. It didn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Now, as you and I, or the three of us, go along, we've lost a number of people. We've known people that have lost them. I think we all remember when Ricky's mom passed away, and there's just people along this road that there's people we went to school with. God bless Paul Rojas and at Eisenhower. And what was Rodney's name? What'd you say his last name was? Chuck, the one brother, the boxer.
Rodney Scales.
Rodney Scales. That was at Frisbee. You know, these are people that are our peers, that are our equals. We didn't think about young people passing away. You don't ever equate
You don't
death
ever
to youth. You don't think about that, but it was happening. And God rest their
didn't
souls. And then here we
Daryl
are.
Piddington too?
Well,
Daryl Piddington?
I was going to say, here we are, not even 10 years out of school, and we've lost Daryl Pennington, and we lost Dana Briscoe. There's a lot of people we lost. And here we are thinking that, well, we're young and we're never going to die. No, it does happen. So how do we process it? And I think that's the question I have. So, El, if you want to take over from here, brother, how
I
do we
don't know.
process?
I don't know how you process it because it like I said, it depends on the relationship. You know what I mean? Like some people might have meant more to you than the average person. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you're saying, like when we were younger, we didn't know nothing about death. We didn't. But man, when Ricky's mom passed, dude, that was like the worst day because you could see Rick. You know what I mean? Like Rick, I couldn't imagine losing my mom at that age. I can't imagine you either, Charlie. But I mean, damn, it's like you too, Tanya. Losing a parent, I should say, losing a parent that you're close to, because I'm more close to my moms than I was with my pops.
Mhm.
I can't imagine losing my moms, man.
Yeah.
I'd be done. And to be as strong as y'all are right now, I have nothing but love and support for y'all on that.
Yeah. But
It's hard.
you've been the supporter, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
You've been the one that stood in the gap for us. Like I said, I could pick up the phone. You know, I'm like you, El. My mother's still living. She lives in Vegas, but my dad, that
You're
was that
dead.
was that was my bestie right there.
Yeah.
Not just my
Yeah.
twin, but my bestie. And that one took me out. I thought I was gonna be all right. No, I was done,
Can,
done,
You know what I
done.
mean? Like y'all have the answers more than I
can I,
would
But
because y'all actually lost
being the
loved ones like
supporter,
that.
but
no,
being the
Right.
supporter.
and,
Go ahead, Chuck.
no, because you bring up a very, very valid point, Tanya, and I don't want to kind of brush over this. So I'm going to go back to this. And this is actually what has helped me, El. So again, just to be able to explain. That's why I started out the conversation about Vinny and Kenner King and I being in this small fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
We go through things not for ourselves. We go through things to be able to be a support for others. So if I'm able to have a conversation, with Ty after she lost her father, I'm not talking from a textbook. I'm not talking from a perspective of what I saw in a TikTok video. I'm talking from real life emotions and experiences.
Right.
That
Right.
allows us to connect, to let her know I'm there for you. So that was one of the consolations, that everything that you may go through in life is not for yourself. It's for down the line when you come across somebody else who's just entering that path that you've
Mm-hmm.
already trodden.
Yeah,
You could speak words into them that no one else or nothing else could speak to.
absolutely.
And that's what helps with me with the grieving.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
I think and El, you said something that's profound, and I promise you, after you said it to us in the group text, and then I had a chance to process it. I kind of talked to Chuck about it afterward because it blew us away that you were that transparent, that you were able to share to the degree that you were about your relationship with your dad,
Mm-hmm.
and him having passed. But I will tell you, you're right. It depends upon the strength of your relationship. There's not a lot that anyone could have ever said to me about my father, even in my own family. I was very inclusionary about how I felt, like it was just me going through it. Like nobody else could tell me nothing. This is my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I had to quickly get over that and understand, and because what I didn't know is what he meant to other people. I had no idea. Anytime I post and celebrate my father's either birthday or like his passing, and he's been gone for 13 years this year. Anytime I do that, I've had people that have come on there and say, I remember Coach Hill, blah, 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 back from Junior All-American. And, cats that I didn't even know knew Russell. I didn't know. I mean, I knew Charlie knew him because I mean, I remember him talking about that I seen Red, and I'm like, you talking about Charlie? Because you know how y'all call by last name, you don't call him by their first name. I seen Red, I seen that Red boy,
That
blah blah
red
blah,
boy.
things like that, playing what's name football or whatever. But the point is, I didn't know what he meant to other people. So here I'm sitting and feeling like I'm holding on to some type of inclusive feelings without understanding that other people are grieving too
Mm-hmm.
over that loss. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know, and in your case, to have you say, you know what, I've got a guap of siblings that I don't even know, but they were also grieving too. But I
Right.
don't think they took into account that you could have been or couldn't have been based upon the relationship. But I promise you, no matter the what, brother, we respect it and we're here for it and we're family, no matter what. You always
Yeah.
can pick that phone up. We got you.
Oh, I know
Anytime.
that.
Anytime.
I know that. And I appreciate
Absolutely.
y'all and love y'all.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
that thing too. Like when I went to that person's funeral that I didn't know, you felt the love. Like you felt that person touched that person, that person,
Mm-hmm.
that person, that whole row over there, them over them. It was like damn, like man,
Yeah.
you don't really realize how you touch somebody until you
Yes.
pass, which kind of sucks.
Yes.
Because all you doing is being yourself.
Yeah.
You're not knowing how you're
Yeah.
touching
Yeah.
people like that. You know what I
Well,
mean?
Yeah.
actually, El, you know what? If and I know that you're just joining us this month. I know we talked about it a month ago. I want to say, Chuck, 2 months ago, our chat 2 months ago, we talked about legacy, and maybe it was last call. We talked about legacy. And I
Mm-hmm.
was asking Chuck, what do you want your legacy to be? And as a part of this loss process, because grief is a part of loss, death and loss, grief, all of that ties in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as a part of this process, you have to ask yourself, how are people perceiving? See, what are they seeing in me? Because like you said, you really don't know necessarily unless someone tells you, or it's at the funeral that people find out like, oh, you knew them or you knew them and they did this for you, or how integral is somebody in your life? You have no idea until sometimes it's too late.
Yeah.
So then what?
Well,
But
Then
but
what?
legacy is something we talked about. Go ahead, Chuck.
but again, what are you doing it for? It's the same conversation we had, about my godson, your son, about, the fraternity life. What are you getting out of being a part of a fraternity? And that's what I was sharing with you. You have two opportunities. You have one opportunity that you can get a lot out of it if that's your motivation and your motive, or you
Yes.
can be a part of. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, legacy, unless you're trying to actually let me purposely call L every Thursday to be nice to him so he remembers me as a nice guy, or,
Yeah.
or let me just reach out because it's natural. And I think for the most part, at least the people in our circle, and even as we move further beyond our immediate circle, I don't think there's been anybody who has been so narcissistic and so vain that they do these things for that purpose. I
Right.
think just do them because they're the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And so that,
Well, that's also a lot. That's our upbringing, though.
and yeah,
That's
that's,
our upbringing, meaning Rialto,
yes.
70 to 84. Whatever,
Mm-hmm.
however you want to kind of quantify it.
How can we be on the line in pretty much three separate places in this country, all saying the same thing about the same people?
Right.
They'll start running down Mr. Harris. We start running down Mr. Smallwood. I actually sent Mr. Smallwood a instant message thing was placed on my heart probably about 2-3 months ago, just thanking him, because I realized I was just humbled at that moment. I realized that the different roles that the people in our community played in our life.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
humbling. And the sad part about it, and this is the sad part, because I've kind of challenged Vinny, Greg, Kenner. We haven't been the same type of men to the next generation as those men, Russell included, were to us.
Yeah.
Well, you said something to me before, Chuck. Now, again, for anyone who's watching, again, I just want to really quickly, this will probably be the last time I say it because we're going to be coming to a close soon. This is our monthly check-in. Charlie and I jump online every month. We do a check-in not just with one another, but with you all. And so we're glad that you're here. And we're talking about grief and all the aftermath of it. Chuck, you said something to me when I initially asked you to be my godfather, my kid's godfather. And I know how important of a role that plays. And that is And I think initially you were like, well, I'm flattered, but what do you really want me to do? What am I supposed to do in this? But I didn't have any expectations other than, you were one of my oldest and dearest, and I trust you. And that's really all that it was. If anything ever happened, you're one of my oldest and dearest, brother, I trust you. Trust you with my sons. And I'm all right with that. Anything else outside of that, I wasn't going to worry about. So
Absolutely.
that being, go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing.
So with that, at the end of the day, the responsibility of, let's say, our generation that we have for those behind us. So in our case, Chuck, our children and then their children. Elle, I know you said you don't have any children. That's okay, but you've got enough family. You've got nieces, nephews. For even if it's through marriage, you've got cousins, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got enough younger people that are looking at you, saying, well, "What kind of example are you?"
They're
Yeah.
watching.
So what kind of example are you?
Good point.
You're not
Yeah.
just out here just doing this or that or blah, 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 blah. What example have you been or are you being?
Good
Because
point.
one day we're all going to be over, no matter who goes first in this group, this trifecta that we're sitting here on this call right now, no matter which of us goes first. If I go first, if y'all come to my funeral, my expectation is going to be y'all going to have something to say about me that other people may not know because you've known me for so long.
I'm going to say some stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, while you alive now, I'm going to say all kind of madness about you. I'm getting on the mic. I'm going to drop it, though, but I'm going to get on the mic. I'm going to wear my DMSR shirt, and I'm going to say some stuff about your ass, T-Money.
On that note, folks, we're out. But you know what? I wouldn't expect it any other way. Because
I know that
that's it. That's it. So,
and I'm going to. Charlie's going to.
Absolutely.
Probably Smallwood's going to. Vinny Van's going to say something. So you already know. I already know once y'all pass, and thank God I haven't passed before y'all, it's going to be some grievance.
Yes.
But it's going to be a party, y'all.
Yes.
Like it's going to be reminiscent about, remember when Charlie did, remember when T-Money, remember we went to the movies and we was throwing popcorn during breaking? You know what I mean? It's like, remember the holiday roller when we was all speed skating and doing all that? Y'all don't know, and it's sad because you don't find that out until a funeral, and it's when people get together and hang out. Like, Charlie, for your pops, I hated doing that, dude. But I loved it because we was all together. You know what I mean? Like after graduation, everybody went pew, 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 pew.
But
and we got this.
Support,
Thank God
but
for
that's
this.
The support.
Yeah.
That's the support. As
yeah.
the supporter, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's it. That is it.
But even this conversation today, and I know we're coming to a close, my hope and my prayer is that in just our being transparent and real with one another, that is able to help somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what it's, again, we're not doing this to develop a legacy. We're doing this, the purpose that we're doing this is to be able to help somebody else and give somebody else a voice, whether it be through, getting on them in the camera and speaking, or whether it be through texting, their comments, how they feel. So that's what the purpose is today, is that it's something that we all unfortunately share. We've all experienced. And so today I got a better understanding, how different people experience it and what happens at different ages in its relationship, how the relationship is actually, influential. But sometimes, as you point out, Elle, you don't necessarily have to have the individual or direct relationship. It could be an indirect one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that, because I didn't learn that at Columbia University. I learned that this morning with well, remember, I'm one gave you that name, so I will be a little vain on that one.
Hey,
you gave him what name?
I gave him El Boogie. Yes.
Here we go. Here's the argument. Here we go. I love y'all both. I appreciate it. I take it.
It stuck.
I love it. Because again, like when I watch Best Man and they call Morris Chestnut's character El Boogie,
yes.
I think of y'all every time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm the original though.
You are. Yeah.
Don't nobody know. Malcolm D. Lee don't know that.
You
I'm
know,
the original L Boogie.
yes, yes.
um, of course, we can sit and dispute that all day. And look, Elle and Charlie, I can call y'all after this call, and then we can have a real conversation.
Hey,
Because
we can do whatever.
because
My
I
Saturday's
know
free.
better. I know better than to think that Chuck came up with anything original because he picked Scarlet. So whatever.
That was original too.
That
You know,
wasn't. That wasn't. That was
and,
not.
and
That was
Oh,
foolishness, is what it was.
see, I love this. I love
But
y'all. I love
but
this.
let's say this, and let's just have some final thoughts, guys, because I want to make sure that we're a respecter of times today. I know we've had many people that have been commenting in the comments, and I apologize that I wasn't able to kind of interject and talk about them, and we definitely want to continue the conversation.
we'll,
But let's just have final thoughts.
we'll be able to see them online because I saw Nikki had chimed in. I thank you very
Absolutely.
much again for your participation. You're wonderful. You are. You're absolutely wonderful. But go ahead. And I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're
just
good.
wanted.
You're good. And just to be able to call out a couple of people, our sister Denise Hill, and I know who she is. Look, me and her are pretty close. Nikki, as you mentioned, Larry Duncan's been on.
Yep.
Anyone that kind of checked in with us today, and again, as you've checked in and out, or you come back and you watch this, we just really want to thank you. But I do want to have some final thoughts on this being grief that we're talking about. And again, the kind of the aftermath of it and how we process, because we're all individuals and we do things differently. No one can sit and tell you the timeline to grieve or how that should look. No one can tell you that. That's up to you as your own person, as to what you
Agreed.
decide to do. But what we can do is we can support you in that effort, no matter what it looks like, no matter how long it takes. Again, I'm 13 years away from my dad having passed away, and I still have my days, I still have my moments, and my husband is very supportive of that. So with that, Elle, I'm gonna give you the final word, but Chuck, what do you have? And then we're gonna pass it to Elle, and then we're gonna be done.
It's hard to add to perfection, and what you said was perfect.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I was gonna agree with that. Just like I don't think you can get more profound than that.
no.
It's it all depends on your what you got on your plate. It's no pinpointed thing of, oh, you can only grieve for 2 weeks or 2 days. It's 13 years for you. You're still grieving. But what I appreciate is that you're still you, T. You still have that sense of humor. You still have that support. You have that love, that drive. And I love that. You still keep it moving. You're Team Money to me. But it is whatever you're going through, whatever you need to do to get through all that. If you need 2 months, you need 3 weeks, or if it takes you 3 days, or it took me 3 days for breathing for my pops. I still think about it though, because that's my pops. We could have had a better relationship. Yeah. Was it more on his fault? Yeah. But still, that was my pops. I grieved. I still kind of grieve. I wonder like what attributes I've gotten from him. Like I wonder if I do when I do that, is that from my dad? Because I never seen my mom do it. I don't know any of that. But so it still kind of pulls on me a little bit because I don't know a lot of stuff. But grievance is what it is. We're always here for you no matter what. Reach out. You just need to laugh. You just need a confirmation on anything. I'm here for y'all. I'm here for everyone who's typing in, watching, thinking about it. You don't really know me, but you might have had a class with me and don't feel like you can reach out to me. I'm here for you, no matter what. I've gone through some stuff. I shouldn't even be here. This is my second chance of life. So I'm here for everybody. I'm looking at the sun right now and the moon like, damn, sky's blue. It's nice. I'm here to experience that. So
Yeah,
whatever knowledge I have or what I don't think I have, I'm here for y'all.
absolutely,
I'm that sounding board. I'm that earpiece. I'm whatever you need me to be.
absolutely.
And I love y'all. I love y'all watching. Y'all know the family hood here. Y'all know
Mhm.
that. So
Mhm.
I'm always here for any one of y'all. I'll fly out. Y'all can fly out to me. I got a room for y'all down the hall. Whatever. I told that to Ricky when he came for the Super Bowl. I mean, it's like Rialto family is, man, that's some strong business right there. And no matter where we are, we're in different states right now. We all connecting through here. I look back on the yearbooks and be like, damn, That was us back in the day. And we still tight, even though we're not seeing each other every day in person. But I know, Chuck, you're in my corner. I know, T Money, you're in my corner. I know I can reach out to y'all. I love y'all for that. I love y'all for being you. And there's nothing more I can ask. Just continue being there for me.
Wouldn't be any place else, brother.
You got it.
No place else. Absolutely. What, Chuck?
No,
What, Chuck?
that sounded like, after you trying to set it up and, he hit us with Mike Tyson punch, it's okay for us to so but thank you everyone for your participation and getting transparency. And also, once again, your vulnerability, because this is a very vulnerable type of conversation. Nobody came, I'm Billy Bad, and I can take on the world. No, it's your strength is really in your vulnerability. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Let me see this one last thing, and I know we got to go. The idea of it takes a village, the Rialto village that Elle was just talking about, that we've been discussing, it obviously expands beyond that because we obviously all live elsewhere. But this is the village that people talk about. This family, and anybody that's watching, anybody that's listening, that comes, whatever, this village is what we're talking about. And thank you for supporting the village. There you go. Y'all, love y'all. We will see you next month. Chuck, do you happen to have the date as of yet? If not, then they'll see it soon.
No, I don't.
First Saturday of every month, we will see you then.
Keep me included in the monthlies.
You just have to get up, Elle.
I mean that special monthly. This monthly, not the other monthly. But if any of y'all still have that in our 50s, I'm with y'all. I'm gonna be here. I love this. This is my connection with y'all. This is my Rialto connection. This is my love. This is my family connection right here. So
well, that means
whenever this happens, let me know.
Month. You got to.
Yeah,
You have to be
I'm here monthly now. I'm gonna be like Chuck, putting my mic on.
I'm gonna clutch pearls
what we
on that.
talking about today? I'm trying to be more. I'm trying to be more silver fox like Chuck over there. I'm trying to.
God, Elle Boogie, Charlie, Credible, love y'all. Everybody that tuned in, this is the check-in. We love y'all. We'll see you next time.